Alright everybody, welcome to the next video. We're going to be talking about the maps in this one. So whenever you're in the main menu, you can choose between a few different maps. There's going to be the Goldbrook Social Hub, which is going to be purely for, practicing some stuff, fighting against other players, and you will lose nothing when you die in that area. There's also the tutorial zone you can go back and check out. And then we have Greenwood Day, Greenwood Night, and then we have the Dawnhammer Crypts. Alright, so the first map we're going to be talking about is going to be Greenwood Day. This is what the map layout looks like. It is the entry-level map for everyone. It has the easiest mobs to kill. You'll primarily be finding white gear more than anything else. You'll occasionally find some green gear, and you'll rarely find a blue piece of gear in here. This is also where you're going to find most of your basic quality materials. Alright, and the second map is going to be Greenwood Night. The layout is exactly the same, but you'll notice that there is a difference between the extraction points, and then also the mobs in this map will be stronger for a majority. There were also going to be some new mobs that you won't encounter on the day map. And then you're still going to find plenty of white gear. You'll find more greens than you did on day map. You'll also have an occasional chance to find a blue, and you'll very rarely find a purple piece. There is a gear requirement to come into the Greenwood Night map, and that is 5 pieces of gear with the common quality, which is your white gear. The materials on Greenwood Night actually kind of go from the lowest end to the highest end. You can find basic trees, you can go all the way up to the epic level trees. Same with copper all the way up to mithril. Same with copper all the way up to mithril. You can find pretty much everything except for certain flowers and things like that. And lastly, the other current map in the game is Crypts. This is going to basically be like the step above Night as Night is today, where there are going to be more often than not stronger mobs, and also there are going to be new mobs, so there's going to be more stuff that you're going to have to learn. The map layout is also a lot tighter and more confined. There's less open space, so it's a lot different to fight people in this map than it is on the Greenwood map. You'll be a lot more likely to find greens here, and blues, and a lot more likely to find purples. It's still going to be rare, but it'll be a lot more likely than it is at night. To be able to queue into this map, you're going to need at least 5 pieces of green gear, which is the uncommon level, similar to how you'd have to have the common gear to get into the night map. One thing you will notice on this map is that it is a lot more likely to have the highest tier materials, but they are also a lot more contested on this map than they would be on Greenwood Night. So it's a lot more dangerous to go in and grab them. There are plenty of materials that are unique to this map, so you will have to come in here to do some lodge upgrades. The Crypts map is also currently where you have to go if you want to farm out legendary crystals to upgrade your weapons and armor all the way to the highest level. Those are incredibly rare though. They can drop off of any mob and in any chest. So there will more likely, if you ever try to go in there and farm those, you're going to have a lot of competition. Now as far as the tier level goes for the maps, to be completely blunt with everybody, if you are newer to the game, you should stick with Greenwood Day and get used to fighting, get used to PvE before you start trying to push your way into Greenwood Nights or into the Crypts map. The Crypts map is a lot harder for newer players, especially because you're going to be fighting a lot of the more hardened players that are farming their legendary crystals, or just in general farming higher level gear. It'll be a lot easier for you to get completely murked in that map. Greenwood Night is not necessarily worse than Greenwood Day. There may be a lot less people, because, if you have a lot of new people trying to learn, a lot of people are going to be on Greenwood Day, so Night might be a little bit more empty, but the PvE mobs are going to be a lot harder, and also if you get into a fight with PvE mobs and a player who's a lot more experienced, it is more than likely going to result in your death. On Greenwood Day, it's a lot easier to just kind of cut and run. And lastly, I do want to point out something super helpful. There is an interactive map that has been made and is continuously being worked on still, I believe. You just have to look up Legacy Steel and Sorcery interactive map, and it will lead you to a website where you can use it to hide markers. You can show markers for specific items. It's not always going to be 100% accurate, but it's going to be close. And you can kind of use that to help guide you if you're trying to farm out resources or target specific mobs. All right, everybody. I hope this has been somewhat informative. I'll see you in the next video.